Hello, my lovelies. I'm Suki, the Brown-Eyed Stitcher, and it's September something. The 4th. Is today the 4th? It's Wednesday. And this is Flosstube 45. I looked this up. And let's see. I don't even know where to start. I didn't start anywhere. Okay, first of all, thank you for your patience. I think my YouTube studio says I filmed 91 days ago. 3 months. That was not intended. Yeah. And I was trying to remember at what point I was 3 months ago. Was that June? Early June? Maybe late May. Late May sounds better, more accurate. Anyway, right around there. I had to have been because it was shortly after sometime when, anyway, doesn't matter. I swear I thought I was ready for this, but apparently I wasn't. So how about I just get started showing you things, and then I'll let life comes as life usually comes throughout. First of all, I'm in an Airbnb. Our dance schedule changed this year. And both class schedule changes, but also some additional things. My daughter's joining competition this year, and so she's got rehearsal schedules for that. And anyway, it was going to require that I have an Airbnb for sure every Monday through Friday. Once I started, January to the end of the dance year, I only scheduled it Monday through Thursday. Even though she had a class on Thursday, it was early enough in the afternoon that I could then drive to New Hampshire afterwards, and it worked fine. But today, our Thursday classes are evening every week, every day. Monday through Thursday is late. And sometimes that's my classes and sometimes that's her classes, causing us to go into the 9 o'clock hour, but that's okay. So yeah, the Airbnb, I knew we were gonna need it in through Friday, because I wasn't gonna drive home after super late dance nights and stuff like that. It wasn't needed. And since I'm not paying for the Airbnb, well, I have to pay for the Airbnbs up front, but then my insurance refunds me, and we actually figured out, based on the amount in my policy, that I can afford to stay in this Airbnb for the next 2 years and be fine. I better not be staying here for the next 2 years. I won't be, but I could. Anyway, so because of competition, sometimes they were going to be on weekends, Sundays, but I didn't know which ones yet, and I didn't want to deal with scheduling Airbnbs sometimes for a shorter amount, sometimes for a longer amount. So I just did it for a whole month at a time, which was brilliant because you get a discount by scheduling it for at least 28 days or 28 nights, I think. So all I have to make sure is that I schedule the Airbnb in enough advance time to where I can get the full amount. And I actually go 28 days and then the end of that week, because like if you check it on a Monday, 28 days is going to be another Monday, but I can't, I have to go to the end of the next week. It doesn't matter. It's fine. That's how we're doing it. And so one of the things I realized that could happen because of this is I didn't have to move my entire life, like the things I wanted to do in my daily life, twice a week. Like if I wanted access to it during the short week, like when Mondays and Thursdays are your travel days, you're really only anywhere for 2 or 3 days at a time. So that's what was happening during the first part of this year, also with dealing all the house stuff and stuff. Over the summer it was a little bit better, but there were things happening. And it took me a while to kind of figure out what it was that was a challenge for me and the ways to overcome it. And one of the things I realized is that having a dedicated space is really helpful to me. I'd like to say that I can pull stuff out all the time, but let's be real, right now, that's a monumental effort. So we've stayed in Airbnbs by these people before. This is actually like a unit on the opposite side of the apartment building that we've stayed in. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and we've stayed on the opposite side, and they also have a different unit up in Augusta that we stayed at over the summer for a week that was needed. So we knew somewhat what to expect with this Airbnb, like this chair. We don't tend to use the chair. We use the bed, the table, and the couch. But we don't often use this chair. We do sometimes, but it was going to be perfect. You can't see it, but my Lowry stand is, actually you can see it because I can shift, see? So I have my stand there and it can just stay there. And I haven't, obviously I don't have any projects on it because I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you those things. So I'm very excited for that, and just to have like this regular space to stitch in. And I actually went to a stitching retreat with Alara up in Canada, in Ottawa, Canada, that Jade from 310 Stitcher put together. It was the first retreat, the first year for this particular retreat, and it was fantastic. It was like such a needed weekend, but I kind of went into it not knowing how well I was going to be able to stitch. Lots of brain stuff there, but I just didn't know. So I just took my whole bin and went and had a great time, and it really solidified a couple things for me. One was I needed this dedicated space. It was much easier to stitch when I could like leave and come back to it when I just needed that break, when I went around the room just to look at people, when I went to the freebie table for like the 20th time. Just, you know, lots of things like that. Anyway, let's do projects now, shall we? This is just going to be in whatever order I pull it out in, because the order kind of got shuffled around. I also am not going to be showing cover photos because I failed to pull out my binder. I didn't even look for the binder. I forgot that that was a thing I needed to do. Oops. Pretty certain it's at my boyfriend's house in a box. One of 3 boxes, but 2 boxes? I don't know. But I didn't get into those boxes to look. I forgot. But This first one I'm going to show you is Woodland Enchantress. It is a gold dimensions kit, and look at that. She's not finished, but this is a pretty major stepping point in her. I put in 3,821 stitches from our last video, and all the stitching portion is done. I would say cross stitching, but all the background is like half stitches, you know. Anyway, but so all the cross stitching is done, and what is left is like 7 colors of backstitch, and there's cording and couching and beading and French knots. But she got to this point. Isn't she so lovely? I am so pleased. So I started working at this at the retreat. It's called the Gathering Thread. I'll put a link in the description to the website, because they will have it again next year. It's the second weekend in August next year. So I'm not sure that I will be able to attend. I won't know until the summer, but if you're in the Ottawa area and you are any kind of crafter, there were knitters there who don't cross stitch one bit, and they were there. There were needlepoint people there. I do believe they also cross stitched, but when I was talking to them, they were needle pointing, and of course cross stitchers. So it didn't matter. I crocheted a little bit at one point, but it's a great thing if you like aren't just cross stitching, or if you feel like you want to do other things, you can. Anyway, so what I had left was basically her entire torso, her arms, her hands, okay? Like this whole section. And so when I got to the retreat, I'd been working on her, and I was beforehand, and I was just kind of taking like a thread up top here. How do I want to do this? There's like buttons on my screen, and it means I can't totally see. What if I just put it on this side, Suki? Good job. So I had been working, and there's a smattering of stitches, but then I figured out after the retreat, I got back and my brain was still kind of struggling to work through this, but it was feeling so close to getting to this point that I just wanted to keep going. And I finally just realized I can work through it color by color, like just color completed. It really was not a big space. It was going to be easy. And actually what I did was, because the pattern list is not in a numerical order, right? Like you can kind of see that the numbers are all sporadic. So I actually, instead of hunting through the pattern, like going line by line, I wanted to be very visual with where I was in the numbers, and I didn't have an easy way to keep track on the like color keep. So I used my floss drop, and I just started at the smallest number, and just like check, did I do off everything from there? Great. And I moved on, and I have this hammerhead shark that was a freebie from it was in our swag bag, my swag bag from the retreat. So I just used that because it was close in at hand, and I just went through it, and that gave me a very nice visual of exactly where I was. And then I went from here and looked through it, and anyway, got it all finished. And that was great. So yeah, next up is backstitching. I'm not sure how I'm gonna work through it. Maybe every backstitch color by color probably, rather than like by area. And I'll just, I don't know that this probably won't be finished next time I film, but I suppose it depends on when I film next. But also the idea is that I don't have to move things back and forth, so it's going to be easier to film. Man, the things that I've had to figure out. Anyway, that's Woodland Enchantress. Okay, next up, this is Nocturnal Messenger. It's from Luthien Art Shop, and she has her own website now, so I don't think she's on Etsy any longer. But what I think I worked in this area over here, and I put in 246 stitches. All my information is on my phone, which I am filming on. So I know this is a 1/1 full cross, but I don't know, I can't remember if it's 28. I feel like it's 28 count, but it could be 25. My eye for being able to know has diminished greatly over the last couple years as I have barely been stitching. Anyway, but it is a 1/1 full cross on an even weave. That is maybe 28 count. And I don't have percentages either. I did not write that part down. I did not check. Sorry. All right. The Phoenix. I have, okay, this is a stamped kit. And I honestly am not real sure what I worked on because this was like 2.5 months ago. But here's the front. And you can see some odd coloring here. That's the stamped portion that I don't have finished. Yeah, so you can see kind of all through here. So I know I was working down there, but I don't know where exactly. I put in 353 stitches somewhere in here. I don't have any idea. I feel like I was working on completing like narrowing the square down, right? So I would work on stuff up here, but I would also work on stuff down here, and I would just stitch the thread out. I feel like that's what I was doing, but no idea really. That's probably what I will do though, because like the more I can squeeze that square down, the more it fits into the smaller nerd hoop, which I love the nerd hoop, and I do like this one a lot. It's the one that was on Woodland Enchantress, but this size, sometimes with my brain, it gives you less choice on where to work, and that's been really good for me. Oh, this is from the Phoenix. It's from Oraloa. It's a stamped kit from Oraloa. They license their stamped kits. Okay, this one is Twisted Band Sampler from Northern Expressions Needlework. This is, oh, it's got its tag. It's a 32 count Belfast linen. And it is, here, it's black. It's a black black fabric. There we go. There we go. I can do this. And I'm doing the specialty band. I think I needed to finish this darker orange, and then I moved to this lighter orange. And this band's fun because you do this stitch all the way down, and then you fill it in on both sides of it with their stitches. So yeah, this is a Veriswa thread, and it was supposed to all be stitched in a Veriswa, but it's not. There's parts of this that are DMC, and some parts of it that are DMC with one strand, and some that are 2 strands. So that was a mess. I was a mess, but the rest of it will be done in a Veriswa. So, oh, how much did I put in here? 407 stitches. And I have my light pad that I use. Light pad. I just got it, an inexpensive one off, I think, Amazon. And it's pretty bright in my eyes, so I usually put like a towel over it, or a blanket or a sheet, or like something to like not have it so harsh in my eyes. And I try to make sure none of it is peeking out around my project when I'm working. Like it needs to be muffled, a muffled light, because it's a lot. Next project. This is Green Hills by Riolis. It is all the kit things, so whatever the kit requires. They use wool threads, and oh, wait, hold on. There's a few stitches on that side. And I think I only worked in sky stuff, in the blues. I love the color palette in this project. I love it. So this is the Shire, but it's called Green Hills, plural. And I put in 317 stitches, and like I said, all up here in the blue. Some of these, it just feels like forever since I stitched on them, because I stitch on most of these projects like right after I filmed last time. And then when, yeah, throughout June. And then at the end of June, my daughter got back from visiting her dad, and like I lost my kind of dedicated space, because it was space that she needed to be in. And I like could not figure out another space. It just was not working. And then we were like traveling back and forth, and we were working on doing house stuff, which I'll talk about the house later. But clearly I'm in an Airbnb, so I don't have a house yet. But anyway, so it feels like it's been a long time since I stitched on some of these. Whereas ones like this one that I'm about to show you, I stitched on at the retreat or since the retreat. So this is Pavan for these times. It is a long dog sampler. It's not one of their very huge ones. Like, this is my whole fabric, and I know I've reached halfway up here. So anyway, I worked up in here somewhere. Actually, Nope, this one I worked on earlier in the summer. It is not one that I worked on recently, but I considered it. I almost did. I put in, where is this one? 417 stitches. This was the last one I worked on before my daughter got back. That's why it feels more recent. But yes, 417 stitches in this section here. This is, I hand dyed this fabric myself, but the floss is a very, very subtly variegated gray from Silks For You. It's PR 150. And I am stitching it 2 strands, 2/2 on whatever count fabric this is. I can't remember that. The fabric counts have been a struggle to like keep in my brain. So that's fine. Okay, this is Suc de Caro from Ink Circles, and I reached halfway. I do feel like this is halfway across. And this is I think it's a linen from, it's called Stormy Night. And it's a stiffer linen. Oh, I know why these ones all feel, okay, so at the retreat, I actually got in a conversation with my table mates about linen and things. And I actually had like 3 or 4 linen pieces here in my bin that I could pull out to just like let her feel all the different kinds of linens, and like they definitely feel different. And so what you can like work on one way, like there's one project on linen that I don't like putting in a hoop because it's such a soft linen that the threads kind of slide around everywhere. But other ones like this one I have no problem putting it in my Nurch. Anyway, I worked on, let's see, this big one was done. So all of these little ones up here and then that medium one was what I put in at the retreat. And it's another Silks For You PR 120, no, 1, it's not even a 1, PR 090. And it is this. It's so beautiful, guys. Like, it's such a perfect pairing together, these two things. I love it. Okay. Oh, this is the linen that I would not put in a hoop. I did try it at one point in here, but it's not a good one. This is almost finished. It's the Summer Garden by the Drawn Thread. This is the linen, I got their kit, so it's the linen they sent me. I feel like it's a 32 count summer khaki, but I don't remember. I probably could look it up, but I don't. So I've been down here and I think I put in this darker color in these because I'm not quite finished. This one is not finished yet. I might have also done these leaves. I can't remember if all of these leaves were done beforehand or not. But yeah, I know I was working on those dark colors. I put in 497 stitches into it. But yes, that is the edge. So I just, that specialty, there's specialty stitches. These are roses. So all these specialty stitches and the stems and then the wording across the bottom here. That's all that's left in this entire piece, and then it's done. Former projects. Oh gosh. Okay, this is No Smoking. It's by artwork by Randall Spangler, charted by Heaven and Earth Design, and it is 25 count, 2 strands, tent stitch. And my daughter started it, and I know I was working on like filling in throughout here and like stitching out like part threads when I could. There's white in here, but you can't really see it, but that's like the smoke trail that comes up from his mouth because he's not smoking. And this was a bit of a challenge just because I haven't yet, no, I think I did get it to the point, because like I was still trying to mark off stitches that were done while I was stitching through it. That's just worked better for how my brain was doing at that time. And I think I finished all of that portion, so it'll be a lot easier for me to just stitch. And I haven't decided if I'm just gonna work this like top banner or if I want to pick colors from the diagonal like I did on my treasure hunt bookshelf years ago. It really has been a long time since I stitched on my bookshelf. I think I stitched on it once since I moved, but otherwise I haven't touched it since December 2023, which was a long time ago. Oh, did I say how many stitches I put in that one? 514 stitches. Ooh, canopy heart. Now this, no, that's not this one. This is One Ring to Rule Them All, or One to Rule Them All. It was charted by Tilton Crafts, and I had done the black previous. What I was working on was what color is this? 3371, the dark brown one, right? Yes, 3371. And I put it in along the bottom here, and I'm working on up in here. So this top portion I think is, you can see, but then it goes straight, and that's what I was doing, was just filling it in on a diagonal. But that's what I was doing, was 3371, because it was like the next color next to the black, and it made sense to do that. And I put in 947 colors, stitches. This is a tent stitch. I think it's a 1 strand. Yep, this is a 1 strand tent stitch. So maybe that makes it a 32 count instead of a 28 count. Maybe. Next is Canopy Heart. I stitched on this at the retreat because Alara had brought hers and she pulled it out, and I was like, oh, I brought mine, let's stitch on it together. So I worked on down here, which made that look so cool. There is what 10 colors in here. And I love it. It's gorgeous. It's by Dakota Detweiler. This was charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's retired from there. You can find Dakota over on... Is she at Pain Free Crafts now? I can't even... Where is she at? You can find her somewhere else. I even have a pattern from her over there, but I don't know that this one is over there. Anyway, so I don't know if you can get this anywhere currently. And I put in 629 stitches on it. It just looks so good. I mean, granted, there's a large amount of like just black in there, but I filled in a bunch of stuff. There was a lot more whatever these things are called here, and I stitched them in as much as I could, but this is pretty surrounded with black. And as you can see, I was gridding a little bit because that was just easier to do. I love this piece so much, guys. This piece just reminds me of the Stitchy community. Like, you guys are seriously the best, and to me, that's just, there's something about this piece that is the Stitchy community for me. So I stitch on it, and I just love on you guys in my heart. Okay, last project for me to show. This is Sabrina of Mirabilia, and she's on a 28 count linen. I think it's a picture of this plus called Sprite. And let me just open this up a bit, so you can actually see how far I've gotten. Here we go. So I was working on in these roses. Yeah. And I came down, I think this is the last rose down here. And then there's chair to come down, and then I will come back over here and get into the dress. I'm stitching this with no beads, but I did put in a Kryneck like thing along with the like DMC color for like some sparkle, and you can definitely see it in person, but it's hard to show it on camera. I also did her skin 1/1. Catherine at Needleberry Stitcher is stitching the exact same one, but she is stitching exactly as charted. So she's doing the beads, and she did the skin like the 2/2. But she has the same exact fabric and everything. So one day we will both finish, and then we will visit each other, and I don't know, we'll meet up somewhere and we'll show them in video. Okay. Oh, my son just went away, so I guess that's good timing. Oh, how much did I put in her? 213 stitches on her. Okay. So my stitchy plan is to keep these, like these are the only whips I have out, and they will be the only ones I have out. So I do have like a rotation that I put together last time, and I'm gonna keep doing that. I will change my stitch amounts because those were randomly generated. I mean, I chose the amount, but like I randomly picked which project goes to which stitch count. And I really like that, so I'm gonna keep doing it, with Woodland Enchantress being like the project I stitch on in between every other, in between every project, I will hit up Woodland Enchantress to get her going. unless for some reason the urge overtakes me to just like focus and get her done. But there's, I don't know. It's a lot of backstitch and other things. And like I said, it's like 5 or 6 or 7 colors of backstitch that I just need to make sure that I, you know, am using the right color and everything. So that's going to be the plan. I haven't generated those stitch counts yet, but it's just going to be all of those. But let me just take you real quick through things I acquired at the retreat that I just went to. I like kept going back to the freebie table a million times. I think that some people, like a lot of people, it was like their first retreat, or this was like they were locals. And so there was a fair amount of things day one, but then people would go home and like come back the next day with more things. And so even on Sunday, there were still, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So even on Sunday, there were like some new things popping up. So, and it was just fun. Like I just went and, yeah, it was fun. I'll show you the things I got. This is a house in Texas. It's a Victorian house. And one thing that I really like houses that have depth. Like they don't look flat faced, they look like there's like shading and stuff to it. But weirdly enough, I don't think I've stitched houses, but there's like a whole bunch that I really liked. So these are not in it, but now I know that they exist. But this is the one that was there. So I snagged it. Tiny Modernist was actually the designer who was there, and she spoke to us and told us kind of her journey, and then answered some questions. But Tiny Modernist, she said, was originally like children clothing line that she started, and then it turned into designing. So anyway, this one is called Yesterday I Was Clever, and it says, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. When I was showing these to my daughter, she was like, oh, and of course there's a house on that one too. I'm like, yeah, you'll see a lot of houses. This is Ladybug Cottage by Elizabeth's Designs, and you'll see I have several ones like this, and there were a couple of them that really caught my eye, and I was like, if I'm getting a couple of them, I need to get all of them. Anyway, they're just really cool to me. Like, look at this one. Probably one of my favorites, Bluebird Cottage. And like there's beads and charms, but also like you can see that some of them are specialty stitches too. Yuletide Cottage. Gardener's Cottage. And on the back it does give me a complete list of them. I'm not actually, yeah, a complete list of their cottage series. So I don't have all of them. This is Climbing Rose Cottage. And it does have this Happy is the Home That Shelters a Friend pattern as well. This is Elizabeth's Needlework Designs Crab Apple Hill Cottage. Northern Expressions Needlework Little Heart Swirl. And this was, it says Valentine's freebie, so I don't know if you can still find this, like maybe on their website or something, but it's just a cute little thing. This one just made me laugh a lot. Ducks in the Garden and Other Beth Cummings Favorites. It is book 34 from Country Cross Stitch. Show you that right there. But we got Ducky and Sheepy Buttocks going on. It also has this tea kettle flower pot thing. This is a Leisure Arts leaflet 189, designs by Anne Van Wagner Young. And it looks like there's several, but what it is this dollhouse and this dollhouse, and then the rest are just like scenes from the dollhouses. So it's really those two. And there are 2 cats in this one and 1 dog in this one. And for some reason, my daughter thought there should be 2 dogs in here since there were 2 cats in here, but there is not. All right, this one is Melange. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. It's Calico Crossroads by Linda Connors. And I saw this one and it's perfect for my oldest sister. So she's a music therapist and works a lot with children on the spectrum. So this just, and they yeah. Anyway, this just seemed to fit perfectly for her. We'll see if I ever do. This is Paula Vaughn. It's called Summers Remembered, so Leisure Arts leaflet 392, and it's got this one and this one. And I've seen a lot of Paula Vaughn's and haven't really been super drawn to most of them, but I saw this one and I just fell in love. So both of them, honestly. I found a Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is April 2022. I might even already have this one. I don't know, and I didn't have access to it. But here's the projects they have, and there were several that I really liked. I'll show you the one that caught my daughter's eye. Page 16. She was not with me. She was actually back in Arizona visiting her dad. That's not the right page. Here it is. This one caught her eye, Morning Tea with the Bird, and just the sweetness of it. I saw this Borders, and there were several borders I really liked, which I can show you. Borders in Bloom is what it's called. But yeah. I'm not sure how to tell you any. Oh, by Carol Wilson Mansfield. This is Mythical Dragons. It says True Colors Cross Stitch. And it has both of these patterns in there. Yeah, I really like them. I really like this. We've got a Victorian Christmas ornament, Hardanger in ribbon and silk, and it's got the ribbon in it. It does actually, the fabric's in here. It is a complete kit. And I even, it says it's by Linda Driscoll, Needlecrafts Unlimited Company. And I did look through the instructions, and it's interesting. It's an interesting instruction way to go about it, and I don't know if that's typical of Hardanger or maybe, or I don't know, no idea. But looking forward to that when it's little enough that it shouldn't be intimidating to try Hardanger. This is Variations on a Rhodes Theme, the 11th of Frida's Fancies. Frida's Fancy Stitching is the company name. My daughter really liked this one too, so. This is a Lila Studio, Where Love Resides. And then a Mill Hill kit. It's called Christmas Village. Well, it's the Schoolhouse one. It's part of the Christmas Village series, but this is the Schoolhouse. Yeah. Now let's show you things that came either in the swag bag or like table mate gifts. This is Twilight 2 by Textured Treasures is the company name. They were a vendor there, and it was really fun looking at a lot of their models and seeing some of the models or patterns were stitched up in multiple colorways and completely changed the look of the pattern. But that's this one. Sorry, my bad. This was our exclusive pattern from Tiny Modernist, and Bryn and Needle provided us the floss from it, or for it, and they are like variegated. I hope you can see it, but I'll just twirl them together. Yay, it focused a little bit. This was from Stitch Toolbox, Gather to Craft, and it is very Canadian. This one is by Enchanting Lair, Purple Iris. And it came with the fabric, which is like a sparkly opalescent. And then here's another Tiny Modernist, Always Time for Tea. Isn't that just darling? So darling. And I don't, this is a pattern, but it's a bobbin and a heart, and or a couple hearts. So I don't want to show it, but there's that. This is a magnetic memo pad. This is actually gonna be super helpful, just to put on the fridge and keep track of like meal ideas and food things. It's the best way that works for me right now. I kind of need it in insight. I got a number of candies. Like some of them are Canadian specific coffee crisp, which no table mates I have not tried yet, but I will. And Canadian Smarties. We did discover American Smarties the Canadians call rockets. And their Smarties it says candy coated milk chocolate, which sounds like an M&M. And it kind of looks like an M&M. Not that they are M&Ms, but I haven't tried them yet, but that's what the description makes it sound like. So there's that. And then there's an Aero in here, which I also haven't tried. Or I don't even think I've heard of an Aero before, but Aero. Okay. This bag was a table mate gift. It's so cute. It's lined and everything. And where's this thread bed? Was also a table mate gift from Alara. She put a magnet underneath the label for your needles even. And then scissors. I can't think of what this is called, but you use it on the edges of your fabric. These little clippy things. Floss drops with a ring, and that's a needle minder. Mushrooms. Some highlighter, and I think this one is a pen. Medium tip pen. Yeah. And that's a highlighter. Floss drops with a ring. Another pair of scissors and clips. These ones are purple. Same thing with the little clips. Needle threader. Let's see, more clips. The needle threader. Pin, not a needle minder, it's an actual pin. I have, let's see, these are all cards. Oh, those are stickers. We're gonna wait on the stickers because we are. This is like, they're little snowflake buttons you can use for like finishing. These are charms. You have like, this is a sewing machine and an iron and a mannequin or dress form. So cute. This is gorgeous. It is a hand-painted Japanese silk. And it's got a number on it. So I think that's how you can find it. But it is a pink variegated. It's showing up not quite right, obviously. Why would it want to show what color's accurate? But it's very, very pretty pink. This is a sticker. This is a like a charm thing on a, it's on a loop thing, so you can easily hook it. Another pair of scissors. Oh, so adorably tiny. And the cover is attached to it, so you won't lose it. This is like a knitting needle gauge. So you can see all the various holes and then they're sized. I don't know if are knitting needles and crochet needles the same kind of size, or do they have their own sizing system? I do not know, but These are, I'm actually not floss drops, I guess, but you have like, oh, I guess this is for the label, the skein label for the colors. You can slip it on there. You would put this through like a ring, and then you'd have the skein and then like your leftover floss. That's what that is. This is, I think it's I don't know exactly how you use this one. Like a counting pin, except if there's only one of them, you can't use two of them. And then this one. Oh, but this one, I got to pick out which one. I actually found two, and I found this one, and then I found a second one, and I was like, oh, this second one is perfect for Alara. Anyway, and then this charm thing, and yeah, this is the loop thing that had, like, this one has the same kind of cording design. And then here's all the needle minders. So the gathering thread, that is the retreat. And then yeah, we've got like this mermaid thing, the ladybug. This is a bee. Yes. The only one that's not on there is the mushroom one, because I got that one and didn't have room on it. Okay. Now, I think only one of these stickers came in in the swag, but then on the freebie table, there were a couple people, they like brought this whole container with these adorable stickers, and it was impossible to look through all of them, and I kept going back to the freebie table because of these stickers. And I got my entire table mates to go and look at the stickers, and then like I would go around the room, or when I was passing by the freebie table and somebody was there, I'd be like, you must look at the stickers, they're so cute. Anyway, but here again, the gathering thread, and then a bunch of stickers, and I just have to show you. Reminder, you're doing your best, keep going. I'll be in my office. Cute little kitty drinking tea out in the forest. Books and tea, better together. Sheepies, sheepy wool. I turn strings into things. Coffee is magical. This vase with a hook and yarn. This adorable cow. I really wish it would focus better on the stickers. And anyway, this dress form. These two cuddly kitties. Another dress form, because I couldn't decide between the two. Reminder, make yourself a priority. Reminder, it's okay to have days where the only thing you do is survive. Reminder, you are not a cactus. Drink water. Focus. What if I just put it there? Reminder, keep going, keep growing. a knitting ghost. The penguin serving yarn. A dapper little man. A stitched heart. Little sewing accessories. Purple yarn. This one, which I might give this one, or the coffee is magical, to my daughter. We'll see. And then crochet fast, dye warm. Since I mostly crochet blankets, that's very appropriate. Anyway, that's what I've got. So real quick, my house. Yesterday, the electric company and the electric subcontractor were able to both be on site at the same time so they could upgrade my service. They both had to be there, so it was a couple weeks of waiting from when that got scheduled. And so in other words, not much has happened. I can't even remember. One thing that was happening a lot over the summer was like the insurance company, I think in June, finally hit their final numbers and sent me the funds, the checks, because they're very large. I had to send those along with whatever paperwork that the mortgage company wanted to my mortgage company, because this is a very, very large claim, so my mortgage company had to be involved. And then the mortgage company had to review everything and then disperse like the first amount, and that was a whole thing. I wasn't real happy with how that went down, but it was a delay. All of that just kept delaying things. And I finally was able to get my contractor the funds that he needed. It might have been, I feel like it was sometime in July, like the second half of July, maybe mid-July. I can't remember. The timeline of this is so hard to keep straight. But the other thing I had to do was I knew that not all the funds were being covered. Not everything happening to my house is covered by insurance. Like the furnace needed to be replaced. That wasn't water damage. It actually was damaged before I even bought it. And, but that furnace needs to be working. So that was one of the things that like I knew was gonna happen. And then there was just other things like the quality of materials I'm choosing to put in is in areas higher than the damaged material was. So there's like the little things that meant that more work was going into the house than what insurance was paying for. So, and it was sizable enough. It definitely wasn't something I had like saved up in any way. So I had to get a home equity loan. And so there's that. And yeah, that one is interesting. It's frustrating to me in that I had to get it, but I'm also okay with it because there really isn't anything that I can cut out of this house rebuild. But my payment on that loan is equivalent to what I saved in my mortgage amount when I moved and bought this house in the first place. And I really had wanted, so like I know I can afford having this payment, but I really enjoyed how not having that extra amount tied up as part of the mortgage, like just allowed a little bit more freedom and flexibility, which was definitely needed over this last year. But that's a thing now. So, yeah. Anyway, all that to say, like, it's been a long process, and a lot of it is just waiting on different people and different companies to work through their own internal processes and get things sent where they need to go and whatever. Like nobody's dragging their feet on this anyway. So, yes, yesterday, electric work was happening, and electric is getting done throughout my entire house. So obviously that wasn't what was happening all yesterday. The first step to that was getting the service from the curb to my house upgraded so that the panel can get upgraded and they get all of those hookups. And that was just those two different companies that needed to be able to be on site together. So from there, I do believe it's continued electric work, and then I think plumbing starts. I really have no idea. I'm just like, we're just doing this one. I don't know the entire process. I know vaguely what's happening, but as things get scheduled and as things happen is usually when I find out like the specifics. There has been a lot of like, Kaylin and I have gone to like get stuff to throw away. So moving stuff out of the house to get thrown away into the dumpster, which just gets emptied frequently whenever it needs to by my contractor. He takes it to the dump. And so it's like hauling out mattresses and furniture and cabinetry and yeah, things like that. And there's still, I realized the other day, there's still a mattress that wasn't on the first floor, it's on the second floor, so I forgot about it. And there's other things, like I didn't get the toilets out there, the shower doors and stuff like that. Like there's still so much to like get out there into the dump area that I haven't done yet. But I found my desk had like this huge crack in it on in an area that I just had to toss the whole thing. I don't know where that crack came from. I don't recall it being there from after moving, or I would have noted it somewhere and I never did. So I don't know at what point it got this major crack, but I just ended up tossing it. I had to sneeze. And that's not getting edited out because I'm not editing this. Yeah, so that's a lot of what's happened, is getting stuff out into the dumpster when we can get there, and just taking it one step at a time, making sure that I'm doing whatever my contractor says I need to do, and one step at a time. Technically, my insurance policy requires work to be done 1 year from date of the damage happening. So technically, by the end of this year, this needs to be done. However, I have talked with my insurance agent or adjuster, the person working my claim, who actually everything with my claim has to go through his boss now because it's so big, but But he still is my point. He knows my policy and puts everything together and just sends it off to get approved or passed through the boss. But anyway, I did say, like, back in June, I was like, so it's taken 6 months out of my 12 months for us to even get to the point where insurance was paying out the full amount of money. So, and I still have to like go through and get, like, do the mortgage company pieces, and there's other parts that are going to be slow with the mortgage company also, because to get further disbursements, I have to like get an inspection and then wait for them to send, and then after the inspection, wait for them to send more money. And it takes at least 2 weeks for me to receive the money, and then I have to deposit the money. And usually these checks are big enough that my bank is holding funds, so then I have to wait for the bank, my bank, to clear all those funds before I can get the money to my contractor. So it is minimum like 3 weeks just for that to happen. And that'll have to happen at least twice in this process. So that's fun. Anyway, my insurance adjuster, he did say that I'm a really good case for getting like a special exception kind of thing, and have, what is it called when you extend the deadline out? That's exactly what I mean. So, and the reason that matters is that if we're not done within the time period, I lose out on 10% of the insurance money. That money's been held back and I don't get it. And 10% of this amount of money is a huge amount. And so if I don't get the insurance money, I have to come up with that money or go without something happening in my house. And it's not just like, oh, don't worry, I'll paint. We're talking like a much larger dollar amount than painting would be. Anyway, so I'm like, if it was only 6 months, if it took 6 months for insurance to get to their dollar amount, like, they know how long this process is taking. They know how big it is and how slow it is, and just like how many pieces are having to go together. So I'm not very worried about it. I would like to live in my house again, but I'm not very concerned at this point about missing out on that 10%, because everybody is trying their hardest to get me my house, to get me as much funds squeezed out. Like, even my insurance guy, like, is trying to squeeze out every dollar he possibly can to help me, whether it's making sure I know how much my Airbnb funds are, or like squeezing every dollar amount that they could have from what was damaged to send. That's both structure, but also like personal property. That's been the same thing too. So it's been good. It's just been a lot. So that's all I've got for you is where I'm at now. I'm doing pretty okay though. Like, there are hard times, and certainly my brain is a big struggle, but emotionally I've been very good, and that's been so very important and vital. Still can't drink water though, so I'm still dealing with, like, I drink seltzer water. I've tried like flavoring water, but it like changes the consistency. Like, I don't like the taste of water right now. I haven't since my house flooded, but I don't like the consistency that flavored water gets. Excuse me, something's in my throat now. But seltzer water has worked, so that's what I drink, seltzer water. but it's been good. Emotionally, I'm really good. And that's where we're at. That's where life is at. So if you've stuck with me this long, one thing that I wanted to do is I do want to post more frequently. I really liked when I was able to film every 2 weeks, and I want to do that, but I also don't know how much will have to show each time, which has been a big hindrance over the last year and a half. So what I want to do is invite any of you, if you have like, it doesn't need to be a finish, it can be a whip. But if you have something that you want to show off and give like some details on, email me at thebrowneyedstitcher@gmail.com. I will also put that in the description box. But we're gonna have a village limelight where I get to showcase the things that you're working on. Because some of you are monogamous stitchers, or you also don't stitch very much, or you feel like you're a slow stitcher, so you don't you don't have much to show off, enough to do like a video, or you feel like you don't, just like what I'm struggling with, right? Like, who wants to just look at one project or 2 projects every time I film? Or you don't do social media like Instagram or Facebook to show through groups or posts that way. And so, or maybe you do all those things and you still just want to show off here. Whatever information you'd like to leave, send it to me in emails, and we'll have a Village Limelight section coming forward. And yes, that means I will be editing videos once again. I just am not prepared to do that today, so I'm not, but I will in the future. So with that said, I really do hope to come back in 2 weeks and see where I've gotten on things, and also share some of the things that you guys are doing. Thank you so much for sticking with me, especially over the last year and a half, as it's been just such this huge upheaval. But I regularly feel so touched and loved and honored from all of you that you have stuck with me, that you that you want to know how I'm doing, you want to know how my house is doing, and that you miss my presence just as much as I miss your presence. I do apologize, I can't do live streams yet. My webcams are somewhere in a box somewhere. I have no idea. So it won't be until I'm back in my house that I do live streams. But let's at least do this. Let's at least get videos up. That'll be very good. I miss you all, and I'm happy to be here, at least for now. And I really, really hope I'm back in 2 weeks. I really do. Anyway, much love to you. Have a great day. Bye.